Hello, I'm Nari McDiarmid for miningnews.net, and I'd like to welcome Murray Hill, the Managing Director and Chief Executive of Elevate Uranium. Now, Murray, can you start by introducing us to the company?
Thanks, Nara. Yeah, look, we're a uranium-focused ASX exploration company, not looking at any other commodity, purely uranium-focused. We're geographically diverse. Two countries, Namibia and Australia, both established uranium jurisdictions. We're actively exploring on the largest land package in Namibia, and we're getting some significant discoveries in the last 4 years, four of them, in fact. And we've got what nobody else has. We've got a process we developed called U-pgrade, which rejects gangue minerals or minerals that don't contain uranium through the process, reducing the mass down to be leached to less than 5%. So it has a significant impact on cost structure and gives us some optionality on how we process the concentrate. And of course, we're in the uranium business, and uranium is the feedstock for nuclear carbon-free energy. And don't we need a lot of that going forward?
Well, Murray, can we hear a little more about your flagship project, Copies in Namibia? And I'm guessing that's a photo from the project behind you there.
That's copies. It's quite beautiful, isn't it? It's the Namib Desert in Namibia. It's a national park, and we respect it. We treat it as it should be. But yes, look, projects. I think you said projects, plural, right? We've got more projects than most companies. We've got Australian projects. We've got 48 million pound of assets there. We've got our Namibian projects. We've got 10 tenements that we're drilling on and discovering. Four discoveries, as I said before, in the last 4 years. Copies project has taken over as sort of one of our best projects. In the first 3 years of tenure, we announced a 20 million pound resource on it. We've got 3 drill rigs working there now. Each drill rig drills 5 holes per day. And I don't think you'll hear many people say a drill rig's drilling 5 holes per day. We're drilling 25 metres deep. What we're dealing with is sufficient uranium close to surface. We don't need to drill any deeper than that. So 3 drill rigs working, that's 75 holes per week. And it's inexpensive drilling. So we're spending about $1,000 per hole. So, you take, I could compare to someone like the Athabasca Basin, where one company just spent $4 million on a hole. And it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of metres deep. So it's really inexpensive drilling. It's effective. Significant discoveries lately. Copies is a great project. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of clearing to do for our drill lines. It's fairly straightforward. But of course, we rehabilitate all our holes. We drill, we rehabilitate. So we're very conscious of the environment.
And Murray, you mentioned the U-pgrade process, your proprietary beneficiation process you've developed. Can you provide a little bit more detail on that? I've heard you describe it before as the icing on the cake, essentially, for Elevate.
Oh, look, it's a black box. I can't tell you anything. No, look, it's not a black. It is a black box. It's a process we developed in-house. We use CSIRO, and some experts on our technical steering committee. And what we've done is we've looked at it unconventionally. So instead of trying to concentrate uranium, we've actually looked at the minerals present, their associations, and their properties, and go, well, okay, well, we can reject that mineral. We can reject that mineral through that process. So we're using unit operations that what you would find in a gold, a base metal, or a mineral sands project, and we've configured them in an unconventional manner. So it's essentially reverse concentration. The very last step is the only step that we focus on uranium concentration. The rest is rejecting gangue minerals. So it's quite unique, and it's innovative, which is why it's patentable. And we've got 3 patents on it in various jurisdictions around the world. And it's a game changer in the fact that it is, and as you say, it's the icing on the cake, because we've got all these assets. How do you add value to them? You can add further value with U-pgrade. So we reject plus 95% of the mass. So that means only less than 5% of the mass goes to the leach circuit. Leach circuit is the highest unit cost operation in any uranium processing facility. So if we can reduce the mass to less than 5 going there, then you can imagine there's very, very low cost for the leach. And of course, when you're rejecting mass all the way through, you're rejecting mass, unit operations getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So capital cost drops. So we believe that the capital cost reduction through this process compared to conventional is 50%, and operating cost is 50% reduction. And the optionality is we could take our concentrate and leach it ourselves and refine it ourselves. So we'd have to put a leach circuit in, acid coming in, tailings, and refinery. Otherwise, we take it to a third party. And the third party leaches it, refines it. They've got all the established reagent corridors, tailings dams, refinery. So that lowers the capital again, as you can imagine. But of course, it would push the operating up a little bit. But how good is it to have some optionality on how you process your concentrate? So that really makes a big difference to the grade that we can process and the size of the project we can develop. So it is the icing on the cake, as you say. And I've said before a few times.
Well, Murray, looking at the people behind Elevate Uranium, can you elaborate on the management team?
Yeah, look, we've got a very small management team. We've got 3 directors. I'm one of them. That's the minimum you need for an ASX listed companies. We've got 2 executives. I'm one of them. We don't waste money on executives or directors. Our money we want to put into the ground for exploration and add value to our shareholders. But the people themselves, our board and executives, all extensive uranium experience, all ridden the last uranium boom, both sides of it, and really understand uranium, which I think is important because uranium is a different commodity to most, and our board and executives understand it.
Well, Murray, to any potential investors listening, what do you say are the highlights and the investment highlights for Elevate Uranium?
Yeah, look, we're an active exploration company, only focused on uranium, not distracted by anything else. We've got 4 discoveries in the last 4 years. We've got inexpensive exploration. As I said before, $1,000 a hole. We're covering a lot of ground. We're finding uranium that's less than 25 metres deep. So you can imagine the mining costs aren't going to be extensive. They're going to be relatively low to do that. We're in a commodity that is a little bit emotive, but how important is that commodity going forward? We need to feed this decarbonisation that the world's pushing towards, and the electrification. So we need carbon-free energy, and that's what nuclear provides, and the fuel for nuclear is uranium. So we're leveraged to that, the decarbonisation, electrification, and the fact that there's not enough uranium supply in the world to meet current demand for the nuclear reactors, and there's more being built. So there's that impending supply-demand issues getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So the only way to incentivize production is to push the uranium price north. So we believe the uranium price has to go north, so we're leveraged to that. But we're also leveraged to what we do as a company. We're not sitting there waiting for the uranium price to go up. We're actively exploring. We've got 3 drill rigs working, as I said. We've got 4 discoveries in the last 4 years. And that's just an example of what we can achieve. So I believe as an investment, leverage 2 ways, uranium price and our exploration activities, what we're doing. And I think we've got proof that we're doing a pretty good job there.
Well, Murray, it's great to speak with you today. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Shnari.